That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and we are lights out and charged up tonight. We're in LA for the Los Angeles Chargers, finishing up our summer tour. It's time for TSS Fantasy.
Yeah! It worked for The Rock, and it's going to work for me.
And you just got slandered.
That's what it is! This court is adjourned.
It is Commissioner Cooper.
Welcome to Sophistication Station.
I'm here to save the fantasy roster.
And it's time for TSS Fantasy. That's right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen of all ages, it's time for some LA Chargers tonight. Let's get the intro started. Welcome into the studio, Justin Jesus Herrera.
Well, as you can see behind me, LA, wow, that's the green screen. It fucked it all up. But LA says it. The Chargers are the 112 of teams in Los Angeles. And you know what Spectrum is? They are the 100 of internet companies. Step your game up, help my boy out here, or get the hell out of Florida because we don't need you. We don't need this lazy ass bullshit. We don't need this bad internet.
Hey, you know what's funny is that I was going to announce it later, but live on Thursday, I'm going to have the Internet Spectrum guy here. So he's going to be live on sets. We had talked shit to Spectrum Live. I can't wait for Thursday night. All right, let's welcome in Nick. You got Flander and Macaronis.
Hey, yes, I'm here. And for me to say that I'm uber excited for tonight's show is a little bit of an understatement. We have a bona fide NFL superstar in. I am excited. I just can't wait to get it going. I have nothing really to add to this conversation. Let's go.
Nick is apparently all starstruck and flabber bloop blues tonight. Let's get it started. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a solid. Hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit a like, hit a comment. Little things stopping you from doing it. Big things popping for us when you do, so we do appreciate that. Go to tssfantasy.com. You can look at all our latest and greatest rankings on there. I've definitely updated them, so we are ready to rumble here for fantasy season. Also, go to our sponsors. Use the promo code TSS when you go into Underdog Fantasy. We'll double the deposit up to $100. Same with Jazz Sportsbook as well. Lots of great promos there. Use the promo code TSS. And if you're looking for some championship bling for your fantasy champion, go to Pro-Am Belts today. Lots of great bling for you there as well. All right, fellas. Like I said, we got a busy night. Got NFL royalty in the house. Let's get it started with the doc first. And again, apologize for my internet to start this out. But we'll bring in the doc and we'll see you guys in for a little bit. The doctor is in. We are in LA. You probably can't see me because of shooty internet. Let's get it on, Dr. Miller. Let's talk about the Chargers in this house call.
Hey, Commissioner, people are logging in to hear your fantasy perspective, not see your pretty face. So that's okay that we can't see you. They can see me after all. We'll start with Austin Ekeler. So I'm actually more interested to hear your analysis on his contract situation and his happiness in LA for that matter, that I think is more relevant going into this season than his injury history. And with the exception of the 10-game 2020 season, he hasn't missed any meaningful time in his career. So even though he's a 28-year-old running back, he's consistently proven his durability. We're going to go 25% of the bench for Austin Ekeler. Moving on to Keenan Allen. So he played in at least 14 games in 7 of his 10 seasons. But last year, he missed 7 games early in the season with a hamstring injury. He played from week 11 onward, which tells me it's not going to be carrying over and affecting him this season. And interestingly, he put up a 30-point fantasy monster game during week 18. So I think his hamstring issue is well behind him. I think also an injury like that when you're 30 makes you realize you're not going to be young forever. That might help him take better care of his body, particularly in the offseason. For Keenan Allen, we're going to go 25% of the bench. And then lastly, Mike Williams. He also missed some time last season, playing in just 13 games. More importantly, though, he sustained a minor and non-surgical fracture in his back during week 18. It wasn't even initially picked up on x-ray. It took a follow-up MRI after symptoms didn't resolve in order to pick it up. He's since been medically cleared. I don't think that particular injury is going to linger. He does also have a history of lumbar disc herniation. Cost him time in 2017 during his rookie season. So couple of back injuries in his history. He's got a slightly elevated 55% of the bench.
Gotta love it. We'll see you tomorrow, Doc. All right. So if you guys didn't know, that was a theme I was doing. It wasn't that you just couldn't see me. It was lights out for the Chargers. See, got it? See? Following along?
Now we get it. Now we get it.
See?
Oh my
See?
God!
Oh,
Wow!
thank you. All right, there we go. All right, listen, like you said,
Do it again.
we got NFL.
Yeah. Just second time's the charm.
We got NFL royalty in the house. We got some Chargers big name guests in the house too. Let's bring in our Chargers guests.
Our next stop on our summer tour, we live and die in LA. The electricity is in the air for the Los Angeles Chargers.
The electricity is here. Let's start. Welcome in. Here he is, the legend, the myth, the legend. It is Sean Merriman. Welcome in, sir.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
We're doing great. We're fired up and lights out tonight to be here to talk about these LA Chargers going into the season. We appreciate you being here. Alex, how about you, my friend? Welcome in.
Doing good. I guess I'm the backup tonight because Tyler couldn't be here, but hoping to do my best.
That's all right. You got to step up when it's time, right? Do your job, as they say. We appreciate you being here. David, welcome in, my friend from Locked On Chargers. Appreciate you being in.
Absolutely, man. Happy to be here. Alex, you're definitely selling yourself short. Don't act like you don't interact and been doing podcasts for the last several years with those guys. Yeah, man, it's great to be here to talk Chargers always.
Alex just acting shy. It's all good. We get it. All right, let's also welcome in Evan. Welcome in, my friend. Welcome into the studio.
Hey, how's it going? Chargers fan dropping in here from Seattle. Coop, great to have you on our show, Fantasy Rant Podcast, last week. We did a little mock draft that you didn't do so good in polls at, if I remind me correctly. But glad to be here. Happy to talk to the rest of these Chargers fans, and of course, Sean, dude, let's go.
Actually, as I even said it as I was drafting that team, I was like, I don't really like this team that much. Hey, that's the way it goes, right? Exactly. You got to be real about it. All right, well, let's get it started. We'll talk about last season to start. 10-7 to finish for these Chargers, second overall in the AFC West. Last loss, to the Jaguars in that crazy wildcard game, 31-30. Offensively last year, 12th overall, 23.4, and that's points per game. Yards per game, you guys were 8th overall. That's 357.1. Passing yards per game, you guys were 3rd, 268.7. Rush yards per game, 88.4. That's 30th overall. Here's where the bugaboo was a little bit defensively. Points per game, 23.1, which puts you at 23rd, ironically enough. Yards per game, 348.6. That's 20th overall. Passing yards per game, 204.4. That's 7th, which is not too shabby in the secondary. Rush yards per game, though, 144.2. That was 27th overall. Mr. Merriam, let's start with you, my friend. Give me 3 words or less on last season and expand on it for me.
3 words left. That's hard, man, because we all seen how the end of the season finished. So I want to use a couple words. I don't know if we can curse or not, but
you're good.
It was just look. It was underperforming, right? And I think that's a very good one word to use, because if you look at it on paper, right, when the season started, and I'm talking about before the injuries, everybody had these crazy high hopes. You got 5 All-Pros on one team, right? I mean, or 6 All-Pros, and that just doesn't happen when you finish up the season that way. But But let's be real. They had more injuries than we've ever seen before in like the history of football. Like not just regular guys too. You're talking about a J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Keenan Allen. You know, your left tackle, Rashawn Slater. These guys went down for long periods of time. You know, and those type of things just don't happen. I think Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack play 6 or 7 games or something like that combined on the same field at the same time. Those type of things just don't happen, man. So you got to expect, at least this year, if it's half as bad as it was, they're going to be in a much better situation. I'm not even being a homer, man. I'm just excited about the team that they got this year and bringing in Kellen Moore. I think it's going to be a big year, to be honest.
I like it. Alex, what say you? Give me your 3 words or less and expand on it for me.
I guess the 3 words I would use are flashes of greatness, right? You saw the moments from Justin Herbert and all these, players that the Chargers have, but as Sean alluded to, the injuries and everything that kind of held them back last year. I think this is kind of the other 3 words I would use for this year are now or never, right? In terms of this daily iteration of the team, you alluded to the defense. It's just not as good as it needs to be with a team that's built around Justin Herbert. So those are kind of the 3-word expressions, I guess, I would use. You said the running game. I mean, that needs to be better. That total was of 144.2 per game. That was their lowest in 20 years. So this is just a team that, had a lot of structural problems. And even though they had all these passing yards, they needed to be offensive changes made, which is why Joe Lombardi is no longer here. Enter Kellen Moore. So this is, now or never for this Chargers team. And, hopefully with Kellen Moore and Brandon Staley as a defensive play caller, hopefully the team is a little bit healthier. And that's where the expectations come for this year. But not everybody is on the gravy train this year in terms of the media predicting them to go to the Super Bowl and all this stuff because of still some of the feelings about the Jaguars game, obviously.
I like it. David, what say you, my friend? Give me your 3 words and expand on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's explosions. Both giving up explosions on defense and not getting enough of them on offense. And along with that kind of same vein, untapped potential. I think we saw an offense that could really, honestly, should be throwing the football down the field and utilizing their big weapons on the outside, and that just did not happen enough. I mean, for a myriad of different reasons, but health. I mean, health is the biggest thing. I mean, the Chargers had visions of a couple of people getting paired together: Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. I mean, these are guys that they expected to be able to go out there and do a lot of damage for them last season, and that didn't happen. And that's a lot of the reason why they made the moves that they did. As far as kicking the can down the road a little bit on the contracts, getting those max restructures and running it back, and really wanting to see that movie unfold before us.
All right, Evan, what say you? Give me 3 words or less on last season.
All right, my first one, I got to say promise. They showed a lot of promise. The talent that they have on that roster, Sean, you're not kidding, like it's loaded. And resilience. They showed a lot of resilience through the injuries that they played through and still making it to the playoff. And speaking of playoffs, my last word, pain. It was painful. I'm not gonna lie, it hurt. And it wasn't just that game. It was, there was a lot of things throughout the season that I wish that they did handle the offense a little bit differently. Made some changes on the defense throughout the season. But I'm looking forward to what we got going on here next season.
Yeah, well, good. Nice segue there. We talked about what was. Let's talk about what is now. You talked about Kellen Moore, obviously a big offseason addition for you guys. Other than that, free agency, Eric Kendricks, a linebacker, wasn't really a lot done free agency-wise. Had a little bit of subtractions, though, but they were little ones. Nothing huge. Drew Tranquil, linebacker. Matt Fleeler, left guard. Not a whole lot left, not a whole lot brought in, but the draft did some good in the draft. Round 1, Quentin Johnson from TCU, the big play receiver there, should help with this offense a little bit. Tuli, I'm just gonna mess
Tuli Pelotu is his name.
You, just to help I should just ask prior. He's edge rusher from USC from round 2. Linebacker Dan Henley, from Washington State. Wide receiver Darius Davis from TCU, also a couple TCU receivers. Tackle Jordan McFadden from Clemson. Scott Matlock from Boise State, and quarterback Matt Dugan from TCU. I like that TCU offense over there. over there in LA. All right, let's go. We're gonna go round. Let's go opposite end. Let's go predictions. Evan, I'm gonna give it to you first. Tell me where this LA Charger team ends up this season.
Well, I might be just biased here, but I think that they're going to have a really good season. I think Justin Herbert is going to go for over 5,000 yards on the offense. I think 3 receivers are going to go over, but have potential to go over 1,000 yards, which is, that's a top 5 wide receiver trio in the league. Easy. I think top 3, but maybe biased again. But I think we made some necessary changes on the defense as well, especially with Kendricks. I don't think that was a small signing. I think that was a very large signing. I love the Henley guy, linebacker. I'm sure, Sean, you can speak to more of the linebacker changes and additions. That's what I'm most excited about.
Nice. I love it. David, let's go to you. Give me a prediction. Where's this LA team going this season?
Yeah, I mean, covering the Chargers for, last 6 or 7 years, I mean, this is a team that's always been a very sexy pick. I mean, covering professionally, I've been a fan for 25 plus years. But, you just know that, at this point in time, I think I need to see it first before I can go full in and believe it all the way. This team has all kinds of potential. On offense, it can definitely be a top 5 unit. I think that's one of those things that is understood. On defense is where I need to see a lot of the strides. They need to improve the tackling. They got to stop the explosive plays, the big runs that they're giving up, the big pass plays that they've been giving up. That stuff has got to go away. And hopefully, the Chargers get better health. It's such an important part of how they're going to be able to do this year. But if I'm giving a prediction, I'm going to go 11-6. I think is where I have the Chargers. 11-6, 12-5 is where I kind of been going back and forth. I think this team has a ton of potential, but they always tend to lose a couple of games that they shouldn't.
I like you. One of the big dogs in the AFC, nonetheless. Got to say it. Alex, what say you, my friend? Give a prediction this year.
Yeah, I'm right in line with kind of that 11-6, 10-7. I would say 11-6 if I had to. I'm still of kind of what David said. You need to see it to believe it. When we did podcast predictions on our show, we did this for the division last year, and I was the only one who didn't pick the Chargers to win the division. I picked the Chiefs, and I still kind of feel the same way. Until you knock off Patrick Mahomes and those Chiefs, your ceiling is unfortunately the wild card. Not to mention their schedule's really difficult this year, right? I mean, they got to go through the AFC East, they got to go through the NFC North, play the Cowboys in their extra game. So this is not an easy schedule by any means. Then, of course, playing the Chiefs and playing the AFC West. I think this is a tough team because they have a range of outcomes. You could tell me that they, kind of went a little bit worse in terms of health and they went 8-9, 9-8, or they went better and they went 12-5, or they went 13-4. And I would believe you on either side. So depending on what happens. But if JC Jackson and Rashawn Slater and Joey Bosa stay on the field, you feel really good about it. If they don't, then you don't feel good about it, even with some of the improvements and getting Kellen Moore and all this stuff that we've talked about. So final prediction, I'll say 11-6, but I think there's a wider range of outcomes for this team than some of the other AFC teams based on what could happen.
Alex said to beat a man, you got to beat the man is what he said, his prediction. Let's go, Sean. What do you say, my friend? Your prediction for this season?
Look, man, I know I'm going to come across as a homer, but I think they are bare minimum going to win 12 games. Obviously, I'm not going to lie. The Chiefs are still the big dogs in that conference. I think they split. After they split games with them, I think they sweep the Raiders. I think they sweep Denver. So I think they're going to come out looking good in the division. My biggest thing is always with them is just win the games that you're supposed to win, right? When you're a better team, you got better matchups. You can't give up those games because you're going to be in some dog fights with other guys. You just are. You got a tough matchup against the Chiefs. You got a tough matchup, whatever. The Raiders always find a way to compete and make it a tougher game than what it is. Even though the Chargers are a better team, they find a way to compete and get momentum. So you got to beat them. But if you look across the board, and I looked at the games last year, they lost by a touchdown or 7 points or less. There's your couple games right there. There's your couple games they're going to get back this year because they didn't have their starting left tackle. Zion Williamson, some of these guys, they're moving to their natural and true positions now. They didn't play there before. And so you're looking at a different team. And people are not talking about it enough. Kellen Moore is a big addition to this team. Not just because I'm offensive coordinator. Kellen Moore is great at getting the ball down the field. And guess what you have? You have the quarterback with the strongest arm in the National Football League. You got a deep ball threat and Mike Williams, who can win every jump ball. You got Keenan Allen, who's still one of the best route runners. Now you add Johnson, who can stretch the field. And what's going to happen with that? Now Everett and some of these other guys, this team now is dangerous. And their biggest problem going to be this year is just staying healthy. If they stay healthy, there's no reason why they shouldn't win 12-plus games.
Mr. Marion, you did such an eloquent job breaking down the schedule, but you forgot one thing. You start out with America's team, the Miami Dolphins. You in trouble right off the jump, my friend. That's all I got to say. All right, let's move on. We went over the season. We got everybody all pumped up. Let's get into round number 2 where we go over Fantasy Quiz Show Chargers edition. I'm going to team it up. Let's go. Sean and Dave, you all know each other. Let's team you all up together, right? So then we'll have Alex and Evan on the other side. This is going to be mano-a-mano kind of sort of, right? Because we're doing – it's basically like Family Feud, basically. I'm going to ask you – I'm going to pair you up, ask you a question, shout out the answer if you know it. If you get the highest for your team, you guys will take over, get a chance to close out the round. You'll get 3 strikes for wrong answers. If your team gets all 3, the other team, just like Family Feud, will get a chance to steal. We're going to go best out of 5. So here we go. Fantasy Quiz Show, Chargers edition. Let's get it.
There seems to be no sign of intelligence.
It's the Fantasy Quiz Show.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. It's going to be a long game. Not going to be a long game tonight. We got Chargers experts in the building. Let's go, Sean and Alex. Round number 1. I always start out with a nice little layup to start things off. This should ease you into it. Top 5 answers on the board. Here is your question. I'm looking all-time Chargers history. I'm looking for your pass thrown TD leaders.
Are we putting these up anywhere?
Just say it. Just shout it out.
Oh, just who are the 5 guys?
Yeah, just shout out one answer. Just like
one answer.
Like Family Feud, like one-on-one. You shout it out.
Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers. All right, now we get in a swing of it. All right, Alex, you want it for your team. Alex and Evan, you get control because Phillip Rivers is numero uno on this list, 397 TDs. Let's go to Evan. What guess do you have, sir?
Fouts.
Dan Fouts. All right. Dan Fouts is on the list. He's number 2 with 254. Alex, you got another one?
Ooh,
no.
I'm not sure. Where's Dan Fouts?
Passing leaders, right?
Yeah, but you're not up yet, Sean. You're not up yet.
Okay.
You get a chance. You might get a chance to steal. Go ahead, Alex. What do you got?
No, wouldn't be Breeze. I'll pass on that.
Say no pass. You get an X, bro. Come on, ain't no pass. Evan, what you got?
I'm gonna go with. Is it Stan Humphries?
Stan Humphries. Pulling a blast on the pass. He's number 5 with 95. So you got 1, 2, and 5. Alex, you got something else here?
No, I don't got anything else here.
Evan, you're our only hope, as they say. You got something else?
There's that John Hoddle. I wasn't around for him, so I can't really pronounce. I didn't hear the newscasters talking about him.
John Hoddle or Hadel, he don't know what to call it. He's number 3 on the list with 201. You got only 1 left. Alex, do you take a stab at it?
Doug Flutie.
Doug Flutie.
Stop it.
Get some help.
Not a lot of meat on this bone, Sean and David, but you can talk this out amongst yourselves. We're looking for number 4 on this list for pass thrown TD leaders.
Did somebody you already said Humphreys, right?
Yeah.
So, Yep, Humphreys is already on there. He was number 5.
Flu's not there. God. Not Neil O'Donnell. No, not Neil O'Donnell. No. Damn.
You got anything, David? You got
no, I don't, man. Yeah, the only
I'm stumped.
The only person I was gonna say is Justin, but I don't think he's there yet. So,
you sure you don't want us to just say something?
Yeah.
Herbert.
Yeah, Herbert.
Justin Herbert. The opportunity to say something. Yeah, Justin Herbert on this list. He is number 4, 94
Yeah, I knew he was close.
all the time. Believe it or not. All right, Sean and David, you guys are up 1-0. David and Evan, you guys are up round 2. Fight. Here we go. Top, let me say, is this 5 or 6? 6 answers on the board. Here is your question. I'm still going all time, but I'm going to go with winning percentage. I want to know the teams you have the best winning percentage against.
Against? Oh, the Raiders.
Raiders.
Correct.
Yeah, Raiders.
Yeah.
The Raiders.
Really?
Winning percentage against top 5. Evan, what say you?
Well, they had an early lead.
I don't know this at all.
Sean sat up in his seat.
I want to say Broncos based on recent events.
The Denver Broncos.
Is it back on us?
Yeah.
You can. Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead, Sean. What you got?
Out division 2, right? It doesn't matter.
It does not matter. Yeah, it's all teams that are playing now, all time. But yeah, and again, it's all about winning
percentage for the Chargers against this opponent, right?
Correct.
Okay.
You want to go Colts?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I think. Yeah, let's go Colts. Yeah.
Let's go.
That's tough.
Alex, back to you.
Does this include postseason?
It does include postseason out here, yes.
I'll still go with it. Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Jaguars. The Jaguars are number 2 on this list. You know why? You're 9-4 at 692 winning percentage all time. Got to go with that winning percentage. You got it, Evan. What say you?
This is real shot in the dark here for me. You know what? Just to go after you. Let's go Dolphins.
America's team, the Miami Dolphins.
Should have known you wouldn't put that in there.
No, not bringing that noise in this house. All right, Alex, what say you? Whatever guess you got.
Cleveland Browns.
The Brownies? Ooh, someone woke Alex up over here. The Browns are number 4 on the list.
I thought Alex was supposed to be a beginner at this, man. He sounds like he's well prepared.
That's what I said. He's definitely no beginner.
Browns, you guys are 19-9-1 all time against the Brownies, a 672 winning percentage. Evan, what say you, friend?
Oh, another one? Here we get ready for our third X here, Alex. My bad. Let's go with the Texans.
The Houston Texans.
Wow.
They made the list. They're tied down at the bottom at number 5. They're 6-3 all time with a 667 winning percentage. Back to you, Alex.
This could be very wrong, but I'm going to go Arizona Cardinals.
The Cardinals. Cardinals, number 1 on the list.
Wow.
You guys are 11-4 all time against the Cardinals. That's a 733 winning percentage. Let's go back to you, Evan.
Oh man, never ending. Let's go. Bills.
The Buffalo Bills. I'm share show notes with these guys. Buffalo Bills, number 3 on this list, 24, 11, and 2 all time, 676. You got one last one. Can you get it, Mr. Alex?
I'm just going through my head of like who's been bad like the last 20 years, and it's honestly how I've gotten most of these. I don't know if my luck will run out here. Can I ask for a clue? Can I go like AFC, NFC? Can I do any of that? No, not allowed.
No.
I'll go Detroit Lions.
The Detroit Lions. All right, well, I guess you got one strike remaining. Evan, do you know this last one?
Gonna go with my where I'm at right now. Let's go Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle Seahawks. No. Sean and David, you got a chance to steal again. You can talk this out. They are tied with the Texans with a 667 winning percentage down here at the bottom.
Let's go. I was gonna say the Tennessee Titans, Sean.
Yeah, I would do that.
All right, let's go to the Tennessee Titans.
They're gonna ride with the Titans.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
No, it is tonight because it ain't the Titans. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're right on with those historically bad teams. 8-4 all time against the Tampa Bay Bucks. All right. Well, it's 1-1, and we got Sean and Alex back in it. Here we go. Round number 3. Top 5 answers on the board. Here's your question. Listen, I couldn't have Sean Merriman in without having defensive question in, right? And I had to find a fun stat, maybe something that was more, along the lines of more modern football. So a stat that's been taken a little more recently. I want to go top 6 answers on the board. Here is your question. I want to know who's top 6 and QB hits
in Chargers history, right?
In Chargers history,
okay.
yes, sir. This is between
right.
Sean and Alex.
Leslie O'Neal.
Leslie O'Neal.
Yeah.
That's the obvious one.
So a stat that was taken later on.
Oh, he said
new for you. Sean, what you say?
What do we talk? How far in history?
To be honest, this kind of looked like, like 80s, 90s is what it looks like, but it could have been a little bit like late 90s, maybe 2000s, because a couple of these guys, I just don't know who they were, and I get a chance to look up who they were. So maybe we're even 2000s.
We going with Dean?
Well, who we going? I'm sorry.
Is it God? Is it Fred Dean? No. 90s, huh?
Until now, though, right? Yeah.
Until now, up to
now. Up to now,
right.
Sean.
Exactly.
Myself? I don't know.
Sean Merriman.
Yeah.
Wasn't gonna have a question without you in it, my friend. I mean, come on. All right, he is number 5, tied with someone down there at number 5 with 45 QB hits all time on the Chargers. All right, I'm glad you brought it up. Gotta love it. David, go ahead, my friend. What else you got?
I'm gonna go Joey Bosa.
Joey Bosa. He's numero uno on the list, 135. All right, Sean, who else you got?
QB hits. I'm gonna go hits. You said hits or sacks?
Hits. Yeah.
I'll be interested. Jamal Williams.
Williams. Not on the list. David, what say you?
Melvin Ingram.
Melvin Ingram.
That's good. That's good one.
Who walked over to America's team and made some plays right off the jump. Thank you very much, sir. All right. He was number 2 on the list, 108. All right. Back to you, Sean.
Is Sean Phillips? Is he up there?
Sean Phillips. He is number 3 on this list at 84. All right, you're missing 4, and the other person who's tied with Sean. Who else you got, David?
Let's see. Man, Junior Seau.
Yes.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Apparently tonight it was, because that was not it. All right, there's a little bit of meat left on this bone. Alex and Evan, can you take a nibble of this? You can talk it out.
They took all mine. Literally all mine.
Anything, Alex?
Trying to think of just
Which numbers do we need again?
Number 4 on this list, and the person who's tied with Sean at number 5.
Tied with Sean. Luis Castillo.
Luis Castillo.
Why?
No bueno on that one. Here is your list. Number 4 is Corey Legit.
I just said Corey Legit.
Wow.
Man.
Thank you. 53 all time. And number 6, tied with Sean, Uchenna Nwosu at 40.
I was going to guess Uchenna too.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Well, look, Sean and David, you're up to 1. Here we go. Round number 4. David and Evan, you guys are up. Top 5 answers on the board. Here is your question. We're going back to all-time history, and we're going back to winning percentages. And now I want to know the teams you have the worst winning percentage against.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
The Chiefs.
What?
Not on the list. Evan, what say you?
Crazy.
The worst win percentage? Patriots.
The Patriots.
Damn.
They have pretty much been on everyone's list. They are on this one, number 5, 14, 24, and 2, 375 winning percentage. But number 5 on your list, at least. All right, well, Alex, back to you. You got it for your team. What say you for this one?
I'll actually go with the Denver Broncos.
The Broncos. Not right in on that one. Evan, what say you?
Ravens.
The Ravens? Never more on that one. Alex, what say you?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Steelers. Number 3 on this list, 9 and 23 all time against the Steelers. That's a 281 winning percentage. Goodness me. All right, let's go back to you, Evan.
Alex, you're making me look so bad at these win percentage ones. Let's do 49ers.
The 49ers.
You idiot.
No bueno there. There's some meat here, guys. Sean and David, you steal this, you win it. We're looking for the teams they have the worst winning percentage against. You're missing number 1, 2, and 4 on the list.
Now, we said the Raiders early. I'm going to go with the Raiders because they wasn't in it before. So I'm going to go with the Raiders.
David, you're down for the Raiders? You're on mute, but it sounds like you're down for the Raiders with a nod of the head.
I'm all right with it. Yeah, I'm good with that. Go ahead.
What was your other guess?
My other guess was going to be the Minnesota Vikings.
The Minnesota Vikings or the Raiders. Will give them a both.
Stop it. Get some help.
Not on the list. Guys, had it in your hands here. All right, number 1, the Panthers. Carolina Panthers. You guys are 1-6 all time against the Panthers. What?
Yeah, it's really obscure.
Number 2, the Green Bay Packers. You guys are 2-10 all time against the Packers. And number 4, this may surprise me a little bit. The Dirty Birds, Atlanta Falcons. You guys are 4-8 all time against the Atlanta Falcons. Man, if you don't know, now you know. We're all tied up. We usually don't get this far, so it's kind of cool. Let's go to round number 5. Sean and Alex, you guys are up. Top 6 answers on the board. Here is your question. Again, shout it out as soon as you know it. All-time history, top 6 answers I'm looking for in Chargers history. Your rush TD leaders.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
LT. All right, he's number 1 on the list. You take it. It's 138 all time. Evan, what do you got?
Paul Lowe.
Paul Lowe. He is number 3 at 38. Let's say you, Alex.
Marion Butts.
Marion Butts. Not on that one. Not shaking what his mama gave him. Evan, what say you?
Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon. He's number 4 on this list with 36. Okay, Alex, what say you?
I don't know if he... Melvin Gordon... Ryan Matthews?
Ryan Matthews. Little blast from the past there. Unfortunately, not on the list. Evan, can you keep yourselves alive here?
Probably not, because I'm going to pick Austin Eckler, right? Did we pick him?
Austin Eckler. He's tied at the bottom with someone else with 34. All right, Alex, what say you?
Might be selling this category. Natron Means.
Natron Means. Actually, you call him Natron, but I should have hit the X. But he's tied with Austin with 34, which, by the way, now you know Austin Eckler will, what's his first touchdown this year, become at number 5 all time. And he's only then another one behind Melvin Gordon. So he could jump up this list pretty quick. All right. Well, Evan, what say you, my friend? Do you know who else is on this list?
I got nothing this time. I'm blanking. There's nobody left. There's nobody left in my head. They're all gone.
All right. Well, Judge, you know.
Why?
All right. Now, listen. This is the crucial moment. Sean and David, this is like Game 7 of the World Series. You guys are up to bat here to win this ball game here. And I've already had to play the music, the loser music for Leroy Butler. I don't want to do it for Sean Merriman. Come on, Sean and David, let's get this going. Give me number. He's number 2 on this list. Give him to me.
Number 2. We got to be talking about old school here.
I just wish I knew that like their time period, the last 20 years, 15, because I got an idea of what I think.
This is all time.
All time. So yeah, total history here. Little Train James.
And David, what you think? Not Michael Turner. He didn't play.
No, I was thinking about Little Train James. Was Little Train a running back? Yeah, I don't remember, man. I don't know. Yeah, to save face, I'm just gonna abstain from answering. I don't know.
Gotta do it. Hit him, Judge. Hit him. I can't.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
All right, number 2 on this list, Chunk Muncie, excuse me.
Man.
Touchdowns all
Feel dumb for
time.
not getting that.
Listen, David and Sean, I got your Chargers fan card in my pocket tonight. I can't believe it. Alex and Evan, you are tonight's winners. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Got lucky for sure.
And it makes us 2-0 in the TSS house when we have NFL legends in the building. We got to hit them with the loser music. I'm sorry tonight, Sean and David, you are tonight's losers. Oh.
Dumbass. Dang these. They call me dumbass. Black guy entertainment. Stupid.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
No chance, because it's lights out for Sean and David. All right, great job tonight, go guys. Appreciate you being in. Let's go around the room, let you guys plug where you're from and all that good stuff. Evan, we'll start with you. Where can we follow, subscribe, get all your great content?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter, Evan Gooding 9. Really new to the podcast game. Matt Cooper on episode 4 of the Fantasy Rant podcast, hosted by Stadium Rant. We're live every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Eastern time if you guys want to tune in there. But yeah, I'm just excited to be talking about sports and getting my opinion out there.
Oh, excited to have you on, and welcome to the podcast weirdos. All right, David, what say you, my friend? Where can we follow, subscribe, get all your great content?
Yes, I am one of the co-hosts of the Locked On Chargers podcast, and we are your team every day. We literally do 5 podcasts a week on the Chargers all year round. We are constantly grinding it out, so you can find us anywhere you can get your podcasts, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere. We are all over the place, and you can find me on Twitter at DroTalkSD.
Big stuff. Go follow David, especially all you Chargers fans out there. It's great stuff. Speaking of great stuff from Chargers fans, Alex, where can we get your stuff?
God bless David. I couldn't imagine doing 5 times a week. That's great stuff that they do over there on Locked On. But yeah, you can catch me once a week over on Guilty as Charged podcast, and then also do stuff and write for Chargers Wire.
All right. And last but not least, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Merriam. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. Where can everyone follow, subscribe, get all your great stuff if they didn't know how to do it already?
Yeah, at Sean Merriman on Twitter and Instagram. Also follow at Lights Out XF. Got a big fight at Casino Palma, August 26th in San Diego County. You can get your tickets at lightsoutxf.com if you're in the area. Check us out. It's going to be, we got a burner for this one. We got a big one for this one, going back to San Diego the first time. We'll be live on Football TV, live on Football Sports. If you don't have football, get it. Lights Out XF, August 26th, Casino Palma. Get your tickets. We're going to be sold out.
I love it. Yeah, get the home field advantage with that San Diego crowd going. I got to love that, man. That's awesome. Well, good luck in your fight. Good luck to your Chargers this season, everyone. We'll take a quick commercial break. If you can stick around, great. We're going to do our fantasy focus after this. If not, no worries. Thank you again so much for being here. And again, good luck to your Chargers. Mr. Merriam, again, good luck on your fight because it's coming up. Appreciate y'all.
Fantasy Sports Corp and Underdog Fantasy have teamed up to start your fantasy season off in the win column with Best Ball. What is Best Ball? It's quite simply the easiest way to win. No team management, no trades, no waivers. It's their biggest contest ever and it has only gotten bigger. You simply have to sit and win. You don't even have to set your lineup. Always get your best score every week. Just enter a contest, draft your team, and Underdog will do the rest. What could make this even better? How about free money, up to $100 using our exclusive promo code? Go online now and use the promo code TSS to double your deposit up to $100. You tell them Gingerbread sent you. Good girl.
Good girl indeed. That was really cool, Mr. Merriam. Thank you so much for coming in. Honestly, we reach out all the time, and we usually get crickets, so it's nice to have someone come in and help us out. We appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, we got our boys back. Let's do some fantasy focus on the Chargers. Well, the fun and games and over as far as the TSS show goes, but not for this offense for sure. Like as they were talking about, our experts talked about earlier, this offense is going to be on and popping, and there's going to be no bigger recipient of that than Justin Herbert. I got him right now, ranked number 7. Don't see why not. I mean, obviously, the addition of Quentin Johnson, I think, is an upgrade from they were dealing with Joshua Palmer a little bit. Some other guys that they had in there, but nobody quite like Quentin Johnson. I think it's going to come in, really set this team apart. And I like Justin Herbert, again, to be a great fantasy QB at number 7. Nick, what say you? And you're on mute, sir. I know it's been a minute. Sorry.
Fine. Sorry. I always forget that when I come in. I also have him ranked at 7th as well. The only thing that I could see that's going to stop him really is poor defensive production and the head coach. This is Staley's year. I mean, he's had all these weapons, and that he's been underperforming ever since he had gotten there. I kind of remember that the Spanoses are pretty quick to pull the trigger. This is one of the long-standing coaches that they've had. So this is going to be put up or shut up this year, along with Mike McCarthy over in Dallas. He has to win right now. I see San Diego maybe finishing tied for 2nd or finishing 3rd in the division. KC is just way too tough right now. But as far as Herbert goes, no way he can't perform the same or better. I don't think he'll take a step back.
Nice. Nick giving us a whole season preview along with it. Justin, what say you? Where do you like him this year?
Yeah, I know. I yawned a little bit there because
shut up.
I think Herbert's got top 5 potential. If not, I wish he was. I wish I could say QB1, but the problem is that Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts run the ball way too often, and Justin Herbert, they don't do that with him. They did it in the first 2 years, which gave you the potential for it, but last year really reeled him back. Probably a lot of it was due to his injuries. He's a guy who's consistently gotten better and better. Everybody thought last year was a down year. Guess what? Last year, performance-wise, was his 2nd best year in 3 years. This is a guy who a lot of people also, and I would love to hear what the guys think. I thought Joe Lombardi opened this offense up. I thought Brandon Staley, as a defensive guy, actually was the letdown. I thought Joe Lombardi opened up Austin Eckler to be in more of that Alvin Kamara type of role. And then, this offense kind of flowed off of that. Obviously, the injuries have hurt them in the past and hurt Herbert. But I'm still very much going in on Justin Herbert, especially at the little bit of a drop right now. Everybody's really high on Hurts, really high on Fields. And letting Herbert kind of slide into that later round. Look for Justin Herbert this year. He might have a rocket ship strapped to him and might be flying up your boards very soon.
All right, I like it. David, what say you, my friend? Where you got Justin this season?
Yeah, I think Justin has top 5 potential, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Number one, he has a very, very good mix of young and veteran offensive line in front of him. He has an all-pro left tackle. He has an all-pro center. He has a right tackle they just gave a new deal to. And all of these guys, all of these starters are signed for 3 seasons. Not only that, but they have Kellen Moore, who is going to be able to come in and orchestrate a much better offense, an offense that's more balanced, an offense that can run the football when they were not able to do whatsoever, especially, when you play football, guys, you got to be able to run the ball when the opponent knows you're running the ball and still have success. The Chargers were not able to do that at all at any point last season. So I definitely feel like that's going to be a huge improvement. I think Justin Herbert was not in a good situation last year. I feel like he was handcuffed by Joe Lombardi. I feel like he was like a dog on a leash. I feel like he was a guy that missed. There was a lot of opportunities that were missed throwing the ball down the field. I mean, you have a guy that, with Mike Williams, who's a 90-10 jump ball receiver. Throw him the ball. Go up and throw it up to him. Let him go make a play for you. He's done it time and time and time again. I think one thing that's going to be huge for this offense for Justin is Quentin Johnston is going to be able to help underneath, be able to create with the ball in his hands, which they didn't have another weapon that was capable of doing that outside of Austin Eckler. So that's going to open things up underneath. And when they do go deep, it's going to be more effective because they have to worry about that threat. Definitely top 5 potential for Justin Herbert.
One thing I do when I listen to analytics or people doing analysis is their use of adjectives. And I love your use of adjectives for the line, David, when you chose to use the word young and then went with veteran. I like instead of old. I like that. So
yeah, exactly.
Evan, what say you, my friend?
I love Justin Herbert this year. I'm sure my bias him as a play in it, but I see him as top 3 potential. And that, to be completely honest with that, I see him easily getting 5,000 yards, potentially even getting close to 6, because of the passing offense that they have now, with the weapons that they have, and with Kellen Moore, like everybody's bringing up. I know, Justin, you mentioned like spreading the ball around, getting Austin Eckler involved more, but they really didn't get him involved, like the offense involved the right way. The average depth of target was 31st in the league. So with Justin Herbert's arm, that's just asinine to have such a golden arm and then not use it at all when you're bobbing in the league for average depth of target. I think that Kellen Moore, that's going to be the first thing he changes and the biggest impact, the biggest difference that we're going to see from last year going into this year.
I love it. All right, let's go to this running back position. Another golden goose, if you will, for fantasy, Austin Eckler. And no player has scored more touchdowns the past 2 seasons than Mr. Eckler himself. 5 receiving, 13 rushing. That's a year after scoring 20 touchdowns. So simply put, Austin Eckler is money. He's an RB1. You can have him anywhere you want to up in your rankings. He is somebody you need to go after. It does not matter. It's a minutia, I think, at this point to put him, will he be a better than Christian McCaffrey? Will he be better than a couple of other these guys? Maybe, maybe not, but he's right there with them. He's going to be your point getter through in and throughout. So he's somebody you target. RB1 for me. I love him. Let's go, Nick. What do you say?
Yeah, I think Austin Eckler is fantastic. I said on last week's show that if I get the number 1 pick, I'm going to pick McCaffrey. But if I get the number 2 pick and McCaffrey's gone, Eckler. It's not even a thought. I'd go anywhere else. What really helps out Eckler is the lack of mobility of Herbert. Herbert doesn't run, so he is one of your true running backs in the league, and as a bonus, he catches passes. I mean, was it last season? I just had it here. He caught 107 yards. 107 for 722 yards and five TDs, coupled with his rushing stats. So he's a gold mine. If you have a chance to get him and you pass him up, put me in your league, please. I want to be in that league.
All right. Love when someone busts that one out. Justin, what say you?
Yeah, Austin Eckler is 200 pounds and he can squat like 500 pounds. Guy is freaking really built to last. A lot of people look at his short stature and think, oh, this guy's really not that great.
There's
Last year, one thing that really pops for me was his goal line carries. They really trusted him down there in the trenches. And that's usually the one thing that is against shorter backs. They usually bring in the bigger, stout guys for it. They left him in the game every single time. There was no competition back there. I'm sure the guys down here could tell you how good Joshua Keller and Isaiah Spiller really are, right, guys? But I'm just going to tell you as it is. Go out and draft Austin Eckler. He is my number 3 right now, but that's just because I have a lot of hope behind Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, and to Justin's point, I mean, those I guess are your handcuffs. But again, look what's behind him right now. Nick Chubb in the same type of situation where what's really behind them right now. So a lot of potential going into this season. Evan, let's go to you first on this one. What do you say about the running backs?
Yeah, I fully expected the Chargers to answer the running back position in the draft, and when they didn't, it just kind of bolstered their confidence in Eckler and the players that they already have. I think that Spiller could still be something. I don't know. I haven't seen enough to really tell, but I mean, he's so young. He's still got so much time to develop too. So we'll see what happens there. But the whole running back market is just scaring me right now. And I don't see Eckler getting that many receptions. I see that downticking. I see them spreading the ball to the receivers more, especially if he's got, better protection with Rashawn Slater coming back in and Zion going into the right position. He's supposed to be playing. That offensive line is going to be a lot better for him. I just feel a little bit more comfortable in the pocket, hopefully, but and more time to let the plays develop and to get the ball downfield. That's really the biggest thing.
All right. Oh my God. Sorry. No, right, my bad. Go ahead. I thought you were done. Sorry, my bad. Didn't mean to cut you off there. Yeah. All right. So yeah, good takes all the way around. Again, this isn't rocket science. Grab Austin Eckler, right, David? What do you say?
Yeah, definitely. I honestly do feel like you're going to see a little bit of a downtick on his production now. I really feel like that for a couple of reasons. One, I think everybody talking about Justin not being a mobile quarterback. He didn't run because his fractured ribs last year. That's one of the main reasons. That's going to come back, especially with Kellen Moore. You look what Kellen Moore did with Dak as a running quarterback and the rushing success and the rushing touchdowns that he got. Do not be surprised if you see that element of Justin Herbert's game return this season when he's fully healthy once again, because it is a weapon. It is a part of his game that I do expect them to utilize again. But I feel like with Quentin coming back and with just so many different options, if all of these guys are healthy, you're going to see a downtick, a natural downtick in Austin Eckler's production because there's only one ball and there's a lot of weapons you want to spread it around to.
There is a lot of weapons indeed. Man, you're a great segue guy. Gotta love that, right? Let's go to those receivers. Talking about all these great weapons. You got Keenan Allen. You got Mike Williams. We got Quentin Johnson. We've talked about that. Joshua Palmer actually stepped up. I was talking trash about him earlier. He stepped up last year a few times when Mike Williams went down. Jalen Guyton, also another little waiver wire and draw. So this got plenty of options to go to. My only concern with the top 2 guys right now, I have them both in the 20s, and I see them as a wide receiver 2s because of their injury history. I just feel like there's always some kind of something that's leaving them out a few games here or there. I like Quentin Johnson, though, as well, so he's high up there for me also, at least as wide receiver 3, flex range. I got both Keenan and Mike Williams as receiver 2s, again, because of the injuries and that type of history. But other than that, production-wise, when they're healthy, they're money all day. Nick, what say you?
Yeah, I pretty much have them ranked the same. Now, I had Keenan Allen last year, and he disappointed me. Number one, that he was often injured. He had that stretch of injury, and he was not the home run hitter that he used to be. He was more. They turned him more into the possession guy, whereas Mike Williams, they gave the deep ball to. And right now, I have Keenan Allen ranked at 24. And I'm sorry, I have Mike Williams at 31, and Keenan Allen right now, I have him ranked all the way down at 44. So and that's PPR because a lot of the things too are going to be given the ball to Eckler as well in the swing patterns, and then I want to see what they're going to do with Quentin Johnson from TCU. I know that Palmer stepped in when Allen was out and had some nice games. Now, what are they going to do right now? Who's going to be the number 3, Johnson or Palmer?
All right, you tell Nick really studies up for the show and he's looking up the stats on cue. Justin, what say you?
Everything on in the pier.
All right. Yeah. So I agree with Coop over there. It's hard to place any of these guys, place a really solid value on them when you know that they're going to miss time. It's almost a guarantee. I actually want them to revert back to 2021 season where Mike Williams was just a demon and he was all over the field. I think they really hinder what they do with this offense when they put these guys in roles. Because Keenan Allen can stretch the field. Mike Williams can stretch the field. But guess what? Mike Williams in 2021 dropped his ADOT to his lowest it had been, and he had his most success. Why was that? Because this guy is a freak athlete who's got speed, who's got the jump ball mentality. But the one thing that he's always had a problem with is when he comes down like he's never actually played a sport before, and he falls and he breaks something. It's ridiculous. Every time you go up, you look, you say, holy shit, how was he able to go get that ball? And then he comes down and then he's leaving the game. And you're like, no, you got to stay. You got to stay longer. I need more fantasy points, bro. That was amazing. The life of a fantasy owner for Mike Williams. But, I like Mike Williams right now at 32. I like Keenan Allen at 27. I won't put more than a wide receiver 2 value into either of them when I'm drafting. That's just kind of how I do it with these guys that are really injury prone, always missing at least 3 to 4 games a year. Quentin Johnston, didn't like him coming out. And everybody thinks he's a prototype of Mike Williams. Well, guess what? Mike Williams goes up and gets more than 50% of his contested catches. At TCU, where Johnson was facing a lack of competition, he was only teetering around 40% of his contested catches. I'm like, dude, you're 6'3", 6'4". You should be going up and dumping on all of these guys. He doesn't seem to have that aggressive nature in him. And I'm like, if you're built this way, you got to be either blazing fast like DK Metcalf, or you got to be willing to go up there and grab it like Mike Williams. Doesn't seem like he's either one. I also saw Keely Ringo, who went in the 3rd round, manhandle him in a national championship game, most important game, and that did not look good. It did not settle well for me. Guy's a talent, but I still think I would rather take Joshua Palmer in this draft, like 10 rounds later than him.
One thing you got to remember, though, about Quentin Johnston, he had 45 forced missed tackles across 3 seasons at TCU. So when he gets the ball in his hands, he's dangerous. He turns into a running back. So don't look at it at that just the only way of him being able to be productive. He's a guy that's going to be able to help the Chargers underneath because of that skill set.
He's got opportunity. He's got opportunity to beef up. He's got an opportunity to beef up and learn to go after it, like you said, under Mike Williams. So he does have that also going for him. Unbearable Podcast, Brad, we appreciate you checking in. Got a little West joke for you guys. Talk about the soy milk. I guess those guys in the Midwest drink the real whole milk with a red cap. All right, let's go with David. What do you say, friend? Give me your take on the receivers.
Yeah, I think Keenan's a high-end wide receiver, too, just because when he did come back last year and he was fully healthy, he was still the number 1 target. He was still the guy that Justin Herbert was looking at on 1st down, still the guy he was looking at to convert on 3rd downs, and he was a guy that was, taking a little bit more chances down the field when atypically Keenan Allen didn't really do that. I think if Keenan's able to stay healthy, he's still going to be the number 1 target for Justin Herbert, still going to get a lot of looks because he just understands how to defeat the man in front of him. He understands how to run routes. He understands what the defense is trying to do to him. So he's still very, very effective. Even, later on, on the wrong side of 30, as they like to say. I feel like his game is a little bit more timeless. For Mike Williams, on the other hand, Mike is just, he's such a volatile player, but in a good and a bad way. Bad because of what, Justin talked about with the injuries, but the good because he can make the spectacular play, like the amazing catches, the ridiculous catch radius, the ability to jump out the building and jump over people. He makes the spectacular play, but the volatility with the health makes it a little bit harder to draft him in fantasy because you want that week-to-week production. But hey, that's going to end it for me, guys. Thank you for giving me the invite. I appreciate it. I got to tip out. I got another podcast to prepare for tonight. So take it easy, guys.
Thanks for coming in, Dave. We appreciate you for being here, my friend. Good luck to you, Chargers. Yeah, like he said, we were just sitting here talking about these receivers, man. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you got to stay healthy, and you can best believe Joshua Palmer is going to be on a sophisticated pickup segment. I can guarantee that. But Evan, what say you, my friend? Give me your take on the receivers.
I think that's the only reason Joshua Palmer becomes relevant is if an injury does come up. I think that there's a huge gap between Quentin Johnson and him. Because Quentin Johnson, like David was saying, he's a yards after catch monster. So yes, he was drafted with some similar capabilities as Mike Williams in terms of being able to get up for that 50-50 ball. But it's a little bit different because he does have a lot more yards after catch ability than Mike Williams does because he doesn't know how to land apparently. But I don't know if any of these guys right now, if I'm able to say which one's going to be wide receiver one. I do think one of them gets into the wide receiver one tier. It's too dicey. It's too dicey to figure out which one right now.
Yep, we shall see. Roll those dice. I mean, it might play up like Justin said. If it could be that season Mike Williams had not too long ago, boy, that was really juicy indeed. All right, well, let's finish things up. Let's talk tight end and defense. Wrap it all up in one. Listen, let's go the defense real quick. They have playmakers. I talked about them last season. They fell real short from what my expectations were. I thought this team was going to have – I thought they were going to be one of the best fantasy defenses around with all the playmakers they had on the defensive side of the ball. Didn't turn out quite that way. But again, all about season, situational football, that type of thing. I know they start off bad against America's team, the Miami Dolphins. But other than that, I mean, they probably have some decent games that you can stream them on because this team does have some playmakers. Gerald Everett. What do I say about Gerald Everett, man? When another guy who's super healthy can be great, but we're just sitting here having this whole conversation about one ball. Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. We go down the list of other people that could get the ball before Gerald Everett does. But he still showed up last season and a few games. So hasn't finished as a top 12 fantasy tight end in any season. So he's not somebody I would ever draft, but he is certainly somebody who is streamable as the season progresses as you go along. All right, Nick, what do you say, my friend? Give me the tight end and defenses. What do you think?
Okay, well, first I want to correct myself. I had Keenan Allen at 17. I'm sorry. So with that being said, Gerald Everett and both the defenses are going to be a DFS special. Gerald Everett, dude, he's never had more than 555 yards in a season and never has had more than four touchdowns. He's had 16 his whole career. He's terrible, dude. He is just the guy. He's just the guy. He's not even a dude. He's the guy. So, and the defense, you get him on a streamer, you get him on DFS. If they're playing a crappy team, you just pick them up. Otherwise, I'm steering clear of them because, again, like Jason said, they have talent. They just can't put it together. They just can't. For whatever reason it is, they just can't put it together.
Well, that was last season. This is a whole new year. May be able to do it this year. I don't know if I go as far as say the man can't. I mean, Gerald Everett's, like I said, he's had some big games. So a big target. Again, it's just situational. How much can this guy get the football? Justin, what say you?
Well, Nick, he had his best year last year, so I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I am actually going to be very high on Gerald Everett. Let's remember who's coming over to this team right now. It's Kellen Moore, who is running a very nice, friendly, tight end, favorable offense down there in Dallas. I think he looks at Gerald Everett as a weapon, like most people would, and I think that he gets. I'm looking at his stats right now, and it's not much different than Tyler Higbee, who finished 9 last year. You get him 14 more receptions, 100 more yards, very doable numbers, and you've got yourself a top 10 tight end last year. So why can't that be this year too? Tight end is so volatile. Every single year there's a new guy in the top 12. So why can't it be Gerald Everett? He's still only 28 as well, so he's not on the wrong side of 30 yet, as if that's actually a number in tight ends because Tony Gonzalez lasted until he was like in the booth. So, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, you know what, Gerald Everett, he got a new number. He's got a new attitude. He's living good life out in LA. I'm going to put him out there as a top 12, slot him in at number 12 tight end for me this year. And then this defense, God, I was looking at the defense because I just wanted to prepare for this. I love a lot of guys on this team. Eric Kendricks is there. You know you're going to get good middle linebacking with Eric Kendricks. You got Derwin James. You got the ghost of J.C. Jackson if he decides to show up and pick up a paycheck or actually, work for a paycheck. And then, obviously you got Joey Bosa there. There's a lot to love about this defense, but for some reason or not, I'm sure Evan will shed light or will put some light onto it, shed some light onto it. This team never fucking puts it together on defense. They never put it together. And I get it. You got to play the Chiefs. You got to play. Well, actually, I'm sorry. That's pretty much it for the AFC West. You got to play the Chiefs. So obviously, don't start them then. But I don't understand how these guys can have so much talent and just never put it together for the entire season. But on that note, I am going to stay away from the defense. I'll do DFS.
All right, Evan, finish us off. Tell me what you think of the tight end and defense.
Yeah, I love the tight end room right now. I'm actually stashing Donald Parham too in a deep dynasty league. So that guy is a monster in the red zone. And in terms of Gerald Everett, he's got one more year on his contract left. He was brought in as a Jared Cook replacement. And honestly, I think that's a nice plateau. Like he didn't really have to, fill big shoes. And I think he did a great job filling that void. And I think that's all he was brought in for. I don't think he's brought in to be an exceptional, fantasy relevant player. And you could get him in late rounds of drafts all day. Take him all day. Take him all day in late rounds for sure. But in terms of the defense, there's just so many question marks I have. I really want to see more of what it's like with Bosa and Khalil Mack on the field at the same time. But at the end of the day, it's all coming down to being able to stop the run. We were never able to do that like last year, the year before. We just haven't been able to figure it out for a while. And I do think that Eric Kendricks, the addition of him, as well as this Deion Henley guy, this linebacker we picked up in the third round, that is somebody to take note of in the defense as well. I think that he is somebody that they brought in as well to answer the run and kind of learn under the elbow of Eric is there. But yeah, they just have to. I need to see J.C. Jackson as well. So totally agree with you there. Some big question marks there for me too. And it's just going to be a high-powered offense. The teams are going to be coming hot and heavy for you to come back and get some points as well, which is tough for fantasy relevance.
Indeed. Well, I like it. This team are going to have some nice fantasy options indeed. And look at Kevin Wilson. He says, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to agree with Justin. Wasn't agreeing last week. We're in the NFC West. Now in the AFC is roll back.
My message, Kevin. You get my message. You get the 3.
We got to cut that up. I hadn't have a chance to do it. I got to cut that up and send it to him. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you being in tonight. It was a great night. Sean Merriman was in the building, and he's putting us lights out tonight because we are out for the night. But Wednesday it is. We got the Denver Broncos. We are riding high into Denver on Wednesday. Thursday, we got the Raiders, and then we finished our summer tour with the Chiefs on Friday. So the summer tour is coming to a close. We appreciate all of you. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe, hit the whatever the hell the buttons are, subscribe in the notification, the likes, the comments, all the great things. We appreciate you guys. All right, we are out of here. Do us a favor, just hit those damn things, will you? We're out.